Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and oh boy, do we have a lot of work to do. And by we, I mean me. I spent some time yesterday. I was at a coffee shop. My older son has been getting into airsoft, and the field that he found is an hour away from my house. I may have said this in a previous video. So the times that he's wanted to go, I'll drive him there because he doesn't have his license yet, and then I'll basically spend the day at a coffee shop. I'll go get some lunch, and it's actually worked out pretty well because I can get a fair amount of work done and then just read or whatever while I wait. And so yesterday what I did is I took the code generation tests and I moved them into a separate console app. And this will be better because, as you can see here, I can now include a whole bunch of different NuGet packages and say, hey, bring in this type, bring in this type. And what I found yesterday was I got a lot of problems. I got a lot of things that I made assumptions on that I need to check and verify and figure out and fix. So there's a lot of stuff to work on with the next episodes. And that may come across as boring. And I've done this before. I did this where I did some investigations into what Rox wasn't handling correctly. But that made it better, because I found all these things that I haven't been doing right, and then I fix them and I make Rox handle more and more cases. So this will be good. And in fact, yesterday I was kind of getting giddy because I'm like, oh, I found all these things that I'm doing wrong. Yay, let's go fix them. So there's a lot. And that may sound like, wow, you really never did a good job with this mocking library, did you? Fair. It's also, I don't think of things, or I don't anticipate things, and I just don't code for them. As I was looking through all these errors yesterday, I kind of went, I should just go through all the compiler errors, create a test case for those, and then see what Rox does. That's where I feel like I'm going in a way. So some of the compiler errors don't lend itself to something that Rox would care about. Like if you give me a bad class or a bad type, I can't handle that. I can't fix that. But for other things, I'm starting to go, yeah, I didn't quite handle that as correctly as I should. So the next, I don't know how many episodes, is going to be just a bunch of investigation, a bunch of what am I doing wrong here and how do I fix it? But at least I've got this to play with. The other thing I just did this morning, and I should have done this yesterday and I forgot, but I have finally installed .NET 7 and I'm now targeting .NET 7. This is the release, it's hard to say in the morning, release candidate 1. And I'm finding, ironically enough, I'm getting like, yeah, sometimes you get these errors with code generation because it doesn't know how to find stuff. But I was also seeing some really bizarre errors with compilation, but yet the build still succeeded. So it's kind of like, I don't know. But we are definitely targeting this now. The unfortunate thing of not doing this yesterday is all the results I got yesterday, I kind of need to revisit and make sure that I am getting the errors that I thought I was getting before. And as I found out yesterday, it's not simple to do this data gathering. I might be able to do it better, but I was kind of just doing one, looking through the errors, picking off unique ones from different types, and then making sure I've got them in the list. And so yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do is when I go back and rerun these, just kind of quick look through and see, did this basically capture what I have now? So we're going to go on an adventure, as they say in Middle Earth. We're going to be going on another adventure of slaying bugs and defeating all the bad things. But one thing I found out yesterday that we actually just need to fix is, well, two things. One is now, because I'm targeting .NET 7, I can actually run this test. Required is understood now by the compiler. I don't need to add in extra types, so to speak. In fact, if I go to my integration tests, where did I do this? It's not shared. I thought I did this somewhere. Where did I do this? Oh, did I actually put it in requireds? No. Well, you see here now this worked. Maybe it did before. I don't know. I've also been still struggling with a cough and congestion. I don't know if it's, at this point I'm like, it's got to be allergies of some sort. I really, really hope that's what this was, because it's not preventing me from working out. It's not preventing me from doing anything. It's just this persistent kind of cough that just, it's not even like a cough that's just constantly there. It's just, I feel like I'm always getting a little congested and yeah, it's just, I want it to go away. I just want it to disappear, go away, and leave me alone. So I am traveling to San Diego next week, and maybe a change of venue will help or hurt. I don't know. But anyway, I thought there was something that I did here where I had to put in a couple of attributes to get this to work. Maybe that was, oh, that's right. It's called patches. Yes. Okay. I shouldn't need this anymore, right? So hold on. I'm going to shut down and start up again because this shouldn't be needed. Now that I'm targeting .NET 7, I don't think I need this anymore. So hold on. Okay, I don't. So this doesn't need to be there anymore. Patches can be unpatched. So let me get rid of that. Okay, that's gone. So that's good because the builds all run, succeed, tests 3 fail, but they're failing in expected ways. I don't know why we're still getting like you don't have the code there, but it's definitely working. So there are 3 tests that are failing. If I show you, 2 of these have to do with required async, and that's just because I don't have the right generated code there. So hopefully I can do that. Now, actually, one thing I just realized. Maybe no. Yeah, I don't think. Where do we set this? This is in the test thing, right? Test assistance. Yeah, we're saying get .NET 6. We might want to change this to .NET 7. We're going to find out when we fix those tests. But what I also need to fix, God, there's so much going through my head right now, is this one. Actually doing all the things I did yesterday exposed a bug, which is really dumb when I think about it. It was really not smart on my take. The extension method exposes internals to, if you look at it, it's basically saying find the only one that exists or default. You could have multiple internals visible to attributes on an assembly. Why did I think this was smart or made any sense? It doesn't. It's a horrible thing to do. So really what I need to do is basically pull this up into the link expression and also say any. Just say if there's any that match the name, return true. And so it's actually going to shrink this down a lot. But yeah, I found that yesterday. I was actually just getting unhandled exceptions because that would fail with sequence contains more than one element or something like that. And yeah, it's like when I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. and I want to change this code because a lot of this is shared code. Like I put in source. And then what I want to do is basically say, was it true or not? And so I want to change this so that I'm actually pushing this code into one because it should make things a lot simpler. So that's going to be basically the first things we work on, I believe. Yes. Oh, and then like I said, these other 2 tests right now are failing because the diffs on the files don't match. But when I actually try to compile them, I'm not sure if that's going to work because test assistance here, we had to do a separate one for .NET 6 because this library from Microsoft, wow, it's not even... yeah, we need reference assemblies in here. Reference assemblies.net. And as you can see, really? This was not showing last time. That was not showing before. Hold on, I want to make sure I still get 3 errors with this. Okay, but I don't want to I don't want to remove this method here because this was helpful, because this is essentially what, if you F12 into this is essentially what it's doing. Okay. And there is no F7. So I'm like, well, I might be able to do the same thing with 7 if those fail, because it's saying like required can't be found. So we might need to do that. So hold on, let me run these tests again and let me see where we're at. Okay, we're still getting the 3 failing that we did before. So that's good. So let's address this one first, because this one I know is wrong and we need to fix it. Okay, so we're going to make a private method here. Private static void check string source code bool expected result. There we go. So what we want to do is essentially pull all this up into here. Okay. So we have source code, and what we want to say is assert that is, we don't know if it's true or not, is equal to that. Okay. And so now here what we want to do is say, take this and say check exposed internal to. With the source code, and what we're expecting true. Okay. And then let's just comment all this out and run this, and we should get what we expect. But all these tests are doing the same thing. I don't know why I believe they're doing the same thing. If I was looking at them before, I just kind of did a cursory glance and said, yeah, they seem to be all doing the same thing. It's just the source is different. And then, yeah, the source is here, just embedded in that. Okay, so let's take this code out. Let's do the same thing here. This should also be true, but it's failing because we don't have good code. Okay. Check exposure. What is this? False, because correct. And there probably will want another test in here to make sure that we are. So this is our source code, which doesn't have any. Whoops, I just did something wrong. No, I did right. Okay. This should be false, correct? Come on. Yep. So a little bit of code trimming. A little bit easier to, yeah. Now you want this to be expression bodied, which is fine. And let's pull this down because I just want this to be at the bottom because reasons. Okay, so yes, we just did that. We can take that off. All right, so we have that, but now we want to check this. So what we really want is to call that. And what this should be is, we want this to say return any, where the attribute class is not null. There is no type on this, right? This is these are attribute like data things. Yeah. So there is no type. But if we have confirmed that, that's what we're saying is we get to this point, it should be and this, nope, that. Oh yeah, that's okay. I was confused for a second. I was reading this as not equals because the exclamation point is here, but that's just to do that and then to cast it. Okay. So that should get rid of all this. Okay. And then we have that. All right. So now let's run all the tests in here. And now they all pass. Okay, good. So we have one that has a single and a double. This one's a single, and we should also be consistent and say check exposure when source assembly has multiple, this should also be false. Good. Okay, cool. So this part is fixed, and that's good. So let's get rid of that and run all the tests real quick again. We should have 2 failures now. That's in these property init things, okay? Because we're no longer ignoring them. Okay, cool. We're down to 2 errors. Let's commit this and say 174 now targeting .NET 7 RC1 and fix the exposes internals to issue. Okay. So we got that. That's good. So now let's try to fix these before the episode is complete. And we can actually take these off. Okay, my spider sense is tingling. Well, let's wait on that and see if that actually is something we can wait or remove. Okay, let's grab the code, do the dance. We all know this. We've seen this many times before. Oh, I had to grab this because I included CSLA for my friend Rocky in my code generation thing. Now, of course, there was errors, but now I'm seeing this issue. It's a warning, but I'm going to tell him about it because he might have this not correct and should be normalized. So I'm like, he told me, hey, if you find anything, let me know. I'm like, okay, I will. I'm on it. Okay, let's do that. Do that. Say plus is that. I gotta be careful with that because if I ever did a plus in my code, that would suddenly break, and that would not be like if there was something that I did, that would be bad. Okay, so let's put it there. And now we got to play the tabbing, the tab dance, because you don't know those. But I want to get this to at least pass from the standpoint of the code will the code is the same expected, but will compile, and that is what I'm concerned about with targeting .NET 6. Is that this may not work. Let's find out. Because even though I'm referencing .NET 7 in the test assembly, this is compiling with .NET 6, and it might say, no, I need required attribute. And if so, then we're going to try to change it to .NET 7. Yeah, it's failing. And I bet I know why. It's because of that problem I just told you about. Yeah, it doesn't know required member attribute. So let's try this. Let's say test assistant. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to ignore them until I can actually do this. So 7 the .NET 7.0 target framework is not supported by this version of NuGet. Return reference assembly 7. I'm just guessing right here. I'm like, I have no idea. I have no clue. They all did this. So let's say 7.0. Okay, and then let's come back here. Just run this one test. Let's see what happens. And if everything goes belly up, then I'm going to have to ignore these tests because I just can't figure it out right now. Well, maybe. It still failed. But it failed for a different reason. The given key was not present in the dictionary. Fair enough. So somewhere in here, it's saying I can't find .NET 7. Okay, well, it did that. I guess I should have looked at where it's actually failing. Oh, whatever. I can't tell from here. So the given key available packages. This is in reference assemblies. Is this something you download through NuGet? Like you're trying to actually get it through NuGet, or is it? Okay. So what happens if I said dot 6.0.0? Yeah, it doesn't know that. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I've never looked at what this code does underneath the scenes. So where's, yeah, this is just going to be like trying to. So unfortunately we can't do it yet. I'd have to look through all of the stuff that this actual thing does underneath the scenes to get this to work. And I really don't know. Yeah, so that gives you reference assemblies, but where it's failing is when I say run async. And I'm just curious, because I'm a curious feller. 7.0. What do you get for 6? Is it just 6? Yeah, okay. You know, because I'm a curious fella. That's the target framework. That's the package identity. This is the actual version that we want. Well, like, what do I got to lose? I just run this and I see what happens, you know. I don't need that one up anymore. Let's see. I passed. Holy crap. I guessed right for once. Amazing. Amazing. Holy cow. I actually did something right. All right. Well, the gloves are off. Let's get this one and then we can get all of our tests to pass. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. So I think we can just kind of, for some reason I make this nullable. I'm sure I've justified that in my head many a times. And then I do that. This has to be non-null though, because you have to set it to something. So yeah, okay. And then, yeah, but why do I make this? That does bother me. Like if it is required, then this is not null and you'd have to set it. You don't have a choice. Anyway, let's just move on for now. That might be something though to look at. Okay, we've got all the unsafes now, which I bet somebody at some point who was like, all my millions of users that are in my imagination are going to say, Jason, why are you doing unsafe code? That's so unsafe. And this is more of an adventure. If it turns out to be a bad idea, then I'll still just change this to being, you know, get rid of unsafe as, and then put brackets around, like 2 brackets and then one, the func int and then a bracket, method and a bracket, and then I would do whatever I need to do after that. So undoing it would not be a huge problem. And then these are, yeah. This is the first one, right? Yeah. So let's just get rid of this first one. And we'll do this one by hand. Nope, nope, nope. So we need to check this. And then we need to do that. Okay. Now run it. Well, still failing. Oh, it's because I got a missed something. I did do that. Didn't I? What? I thought I just... It's... What? Oh, no. Okay, so fair enough. Yeah, that one I did forget. Okay. My bad. Still fails. The annotation for... What? Line 9? nullable enable. The annotation for nullable reference types should only be used in code within a nullable annotations context. But that's exactly what I have here. Oh no, let me run all the tests. Okay, well, we are only getting one, and it's this one. The annotation for nullable reference type should only be used in code within a nullable annotation context. Well, genius, what do you think this is? Like, it's always generated. All the other tests have that. And we are using, I'm almost positive. I am almost, yeah. Nullable annotations. Why would this suddenly cause a problem? We're still in August. Crap. Test, yeah, you don't know that. Fine. Nullable enable. And you go away. I get that this stuff is still here, but I truly do not understand why that thinks it needs to, because I think also I think we do say, we say language options preview, get nullable warnings from compiler. Warn as error, nullable. But we are saying nullable enable in all of the other tests. Everywhere else, even in the integration tests, are not failing. So unfortunately, I have to go run some errands, and so I can't figure this out right now. But if that's the only one, then I'm just going to comment that out and just say this should work. I don't understand why this wouldn't, and leave it for now because I got other bigger fish to fry. So that's what we're going to start doing in the next episode, just to give you a little bit of a hint. These are all the notes I did. You see all these errors and warnings. I'm going to have to rerun these to see what I get, but there's a whole bunch of things that are coming up that and part of this too is this one. I might also, now that I think about it, I'm not sure, but if I come up to the code generation test and I say test generator, well, this is now referencing .NET 7. So this shouldn't have anything to do with like targeting .NET 6. This should just be .NET 7 because I believe I am referencing that, which I think is, that's all like .NET 7 stuff. I believe, but don't quote me. So we'll have to run those anyway, one by one next, the next episode, I will have run this at least for a couple of these just to see, do I still get the same things, and kind of go from there. So and Camtasia died again. So I think I caught it because I was starting to stutter. Come on, Camtasia. I don't know why it's still got issues with the recorder. But in any event, so I think I was just talking about that. I have to go through these again and just rerun them now that I got .NET 7 on the machine and see what these are. So we will do that in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.